to shine on Happy Camper Life. We're loving, living, and learning online on Happy Camper Life.
If you love summer camp, if you grew up with popsicle stick art and gluing macaroni to anything and everything that you get your hands on, if you braided gimp, you are a lover of summer camp and you've come to the right place, because this is Happy Camper Live and I'm your head counselor, Steve Slavkin. We are talking about all things summer camp, one of my favorite subjects of all time. And joining me today is a friend, someone who is an actor, a student, a performer, a filmmaker, a comic, a true Renaissance man. And his name is Jordan Cody Brandon. And he is from the beautiful state of
New York.
New York. Welcome, New York. I'm in Los Angeles today.
Oh, I love LA.
We are talking via Zoom. And how are you, Jordan?
I'm good. Just hearing your adjectives of the popsicle sticks and things, just s'mores just comes right into my mind. Ah, s'mores.
You're a camp guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I just miss s'mores, man.
When you were a kid, where did you go to camp?
So I actually went to French Woods.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
And what did you study there?
What did I study there? What do you study in camp? I studied mathematics.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right.
No, I studied having fun, I guess. I mean, we kind of got to do like every activity we want and things like that. So it was a lot of fun.
Right. And French Woods is primarily known as a theater camp.
Oh,
correct?
Yeah. It is primarily a theater camp.
Now, let me ask you a question. Happy Camper Live is really sort of dedicated to bringing out your passion and allowing kids to discover things that they never could before, because Happy Camper Live has tons of videos to watch and activities to try out, and you can do most of them in your house. So when you were a kid, what made you interested in theater? Do you remember?
So, well, funny enough, I hated theater kids. I'll just be like flat out and say that. I was a skater. Like I like skateboarding and sports. And I always used to judge the theater kids as like some wackos. And I was in middle school and my teacher was like, you just have to try out for the show. We're making you do this. Like we want to be able to tell your parents we force you to do theater. I did it, got like a small role and just ended up having fun. And I'm like, wow, now I'm just the kid that I used to judge. Like, damn.
Do you remember? I remember my first role in theater. I think I was in second grade. I was a purple cow, and I had to recite the poem. I never saw a purple cow. I never want to see one. But I can tell you, anyhow, I'd rather see than be one.
Oh my God.
Well, I tell you, that's going in the Wayback Machine to remember that thing. But it is amazing how these camp experiences and school experiences really leave a big imprint on kids, and it sets you off on a path. Now,
it is. I mean, when I was with Happy Camper Live, that was something that changed my summer, because it was just so much fun to go through that of like meet new friends and be in a bunk together. Like that whole experience, like when you tell people about camp, I think for some reason, all they think about is like, okay, I'm going to be doing sports and tennis and I'm going to be trying new activities. You forget about the rainy days and the days when you're just in the bunk making friends that I still know today. Like I did a modeling shoot for Women's Magazine and they said, we need you to bring a friend in. I reached out to Joey, who I was with in Happy Campers Live. I'm like, dude, are you around today? He's like, yeah. And there we are, like modeling together. And
that's pretty great.
I made a friend there. Yeah.
I love that. So let's talk about Happy Camper Live and how you came to experience Happy Camper Live. So tell us what happened. You are one of the stars of the web series of Happy Camper Live.
I'm the nerd. That's what I am. I'm the total nerd in that show. And I take pride in it.
So take us there. So how did you end up at summer camp? Do you remember your ride up to camp together?
I remember everything, because that summer I was, funny enough, interning at a film production company, and they had me on set for Goldman Sachs commercials and all these things. And I remember seeing Happy Camper Live of like try a camp and just come up and it's going to be a new fun experience. And I told my parents, I'm like, this is something I have to do. and we're figuring it out. I'm in this intern. I want to go to camp. What do I do? And eventually I tell the internship, I'm like, this is a really fun experience. I have to go. And they let me go. And on that bus ride there, I just remember I felt like a 2-year-old. I was like, oh my God, like we're just piling into this bus together, all of our messy bags and everything. This is going to be a summer. I have no idea what's about to happen, but it's going to be fun. And we hit it off. We all did.
It was a really incredible experience. And for the people who don't know what went on, is that we brought up a group of girls and a group of boys, and they all had counselors. And it was the first time for any of them to meet, and were all put together in a bunk, and you guys spent a number of weeks together becoming friends and trying activities and finding friendships and learning really about yourselves and finding what your limits were and what you and new discoveries about yourself.
Right.
And,
we didn't know each other. It's not like we were, like all in a Facebook group before camp started, like introducing ourselves. It was like we got into the bus, but for some reason we all became friends like right away. It was
a pretty now sort of explain like who some of the other kids were that you met.
Okay, so let's see. The first person I met was probably Lindsay. And if you've watched the show, she's the blonde girl, kind of like the fun, upbeat one. She was the first one I met, and we didn't know that we were on the show. We were actually, waiting for the bus together. And I was like, hey, you look like, someone my age. Are you by any chance going to this summer camp called Happy Camper Live? She's like, oh my God, yes. She's like, I have no idea what's going on. This sounds so much fun. And we were just sitting there for about an hour thinking of like, what is this going to be? Let's see. I met Darnell. Darnell has never been to camp before. So this was
Darnell's from the Bronx.
Yeah. And I run into him, which is really funny. We'll pass each other on the streets because I work near where he is.
He's a great guy. He's funny. He's talented.
So funny.
In fact, he's really become a terrific filmmaker in his own way. He's terrific.
Yeah. We're both doing film, which is fun. I don't know like how that ended up happening, but it's cool. And I just remember out of all of us, I feel like he was a little bit more nervous than we were. And because I guess he's never like gone to camp or done like an experience like this. But if you look at us like 2 weeks into the experience, you wouldn't be able to tell who was nervous in the beginning because we were all just having fun.
So you guys you pull in and what do you see for the first time? And what do you experience? What is summer camp?
We see beautiful grass, these bunks that are like, all ready for us to move into, this lake, like just, fresh water, fresh air. I'm sorry to like diss New York City here, but the air is not the best. And so when I arrived, to Camp Starlight with Happy Camper Live, it was just clean air. And it makes you smile. Like it's impossible not to. And so I feel like I saw a Gaga pit on campus. And some of us were confused of like, what game is that? How does that work? We were told we'd learn that. There was basketball courts, a gymnasium. There was huge cafeteria with like fun artwork all over the roof. Right. It was like a classic camp.
It's really astonishing. I mean, I remember when I first went to summer camp, I pulled in very late at night and I went to sleep in a bunk. And then when I woke up in the morning, there were like golden shafts of light coming through the pine trees. Yeah. And I woke up and it was actually the most perfect setting I'd ever seen. I thought I had reached, I'd found heaven. And that's sort of what camp was like for all of us when we were doing Happy Camper Live, I thought, which was like the lake was like glass. And in the morning there were ducks swimming in it and it was just absolutely perfect. It was sort of a dreamland.
And the dew on the grass. That's what my favorite thing was. Whenever like you walk out in the morning and there's like dew on the grass or something, just a little bit of moisture. It's so refreshing.
Do you remember being in the bunk for the very first time and meeting the boys?
I do. I remember meeting all of them. We all had like our little personalities because we had Joey who was definitely like the confident kid. He came in, he's kind of like the beat your chest type of guy. Like, yeah, let's go, like football. And then we had Lucas, who was, the camp counselor. So right off the bat, we all knew like he was just more mature than us, and like he would kind of help us out if we had any problems or like, like if you're scared or at night or anything, like he's the counselor. You can go to him. Then we had Jay, who showed up, and he was kind of soft-hearted guy. He had his guitar, his acoustic guitar, giving us little John Mayer performances. And we also had Darnell. Darnell was like a little nervous at first, and it was funny because you could see it. I remember him telling us, he was just like, I haven't done camp before. Like, I don't know how this works. But 2 weeks in, you would forget that anyone was nervous because we were just having fun.
Right, so you're thrown together for the first time. Now, do you remember meeting the girls for the first time? I mean,
Yeah, I do.
It's a co-ed camp.
Right, it's co-ed camp. And I mean, me personally as like the nerd, it was funny to see like me and Lindsay hanging out because Lindsay was like the swimsuit kind of fun, cheery girl. And like, I don't know, it was just funny hanging out with her. We also had Rachel, and she was definitely like the spunky person. I wouldn't be surprised if she was on Saturday Night Live one day. She's just quirky. And then we had Emily, and she was kind of like the calmer person, which is nice because you need to like balance out different personalities. Mm-hmm. And we also had Faith. I felt like she just kind of like fit right in with the group. And then we had Nora.
But Faith was incredibly athletic and a great dancer.
Actually, yeah. Now that I remember, like Faith she could get aggressive in the sports. Like she was pretty good. And we also had Nora, who was like, I feel like she was one of the most positive people because she was also a counselor. And she was also there for us. Like, just because we were guys and she was like the girl camp counselor doesn't mean that we couldn't ever go to her and ask her a question.
Right. Nora, very, very smart, athletic. Yeah. I mean, she's great. Really, really, she was tremendous to have there.
And she has a lot of spirit.
Absolutely. She really threw herself into it. It was really fun. It was fun to have her. And I know it was amazing that the counselors had to sort of harness all these people. They had to take all these different personalities and try to put them together and try to make a cohesive group. And I think that they succeeded.
Right. Especially when there was like a relationship that may have been starting and all this funny stuff. The counselors were really there and made sure everything was smooth for the whole summer.
Great. When we first started activities, you said you had your nerd side. So what were you expecting summer camp to be? I mean, did you want to go there for the robotics and the, and that side, or were you really ready to jump into the athletics and the adventure?
Yeah, here's what it was. I was 100% ready to jump into the adventure, and I was given the chance to do so, which is so cool. I mean, I remember we had like the powder fight where we were throwing these colored powders at each other. It was like blue, red, purple, and we were doing tag, throwing footballs. And like, for some reason, I've always been kind of nervous to pick up a football. Like, I don't know why. Like, I am athletic, but I've always been nervous. But up at the camp environment, we have like everyone being friends. I didn't even question it. Like, we're just throwing footballs around, and it was like so easy to just like get involved in all these athletic activities.
What I loved about you was your incredible amount of enthusiasm that you had for this thing. Like you were giving 150%.
Yes.
All the time.
Oh my God,
whether we were on stage in the talent show or whether we played a game called Steal the Chicken.
Yeah.
Remember this game?
That chicken was mine, yes.
Right. Steal the Chicken there was a rubber chicken in the center, and you called out numbers, and kids had to race to get the chicken.
Right.
And that was a big game there. And
that chicken brought out some of my competitive side there, I have to admit. Yeah.
Right. Was there one thing that you imagined that you thought that you weren't going to like, but you did like?
You know what? I thought that being away from my parents and family for quite a while would be interesting, and I wasn't sure. I was like, there's always that thing you hear of kids getting, what's it called, like homesick. And I was like, okay, I wonder if that kicks in a little bit, let's just see. And it's about halfway through the summer, and I wasn't missing my parents. Like, sorry, Mom. I was just having fun.
It's amazing how you can forget the outside world, and summer camp becomes so important. And the friendships that you make are so important. You talked about.
Oh my God, yeah.
That you also had this quiet time in the bunk where you got to talk to everybody and
that was
find
the best.
out. Right.
That was actually the best. Like, the activities were fun, but those days were just like, Joey and I just like went to the basketball court, and we weren't really playing basketball. We were just kind of like throwing the ball around, but really we were just talking for like an hour or two. And it was just fun. That was so much fun.
Were you you saw that there were friendships made, and there were also friendships that were challenged along the way. And that's sort of what makes for interesting drama along the way.
Yes.
Did you see the twists and turns coming?
You know what? I feel like I did, especially with the whole Joey and Jay thing, because that's just what happens. Guys start to beat each other up a little bit and show who's tough and things like that for the girl, and it's funny. And it's like, you start to think of like, okay, who do we take sides and what happens? And it was funny to watch play out. It was funny. Well,
it is interesting. I mean, there's certainly anytime you put 8 strangers together, there's going to be drama. But
yeah, just watch The Bachelor.
What's interesting is that how everybody really stepped up and they found a way to be honest with each other and a way to communicate with each other and a way to focus on the things that bound them together, and they were able to overcome their differences. And I thought that everybody in the whole show showed like an incredible inner strength in order to pull together as friends. And there are certainly bumps along the way in anybody's travels. Well,
in life. But, it's like if you look at when we first came in and some of us were nervous and then you look at us towards the end of the summer when we were all so sad, probably on the brink of crying our eyes out, you see that we were so sad to go home and we grew immensely.
I think it's fantastic. I think you had a very, very interesting experience at summer camp. And watching you guys come in as strangers and leave as best friends was really a triumphant and wonderful moment.
It's cool. Because the idea of shoving people together, you don't always think, okay, we're just going to shove these people and they're all going to live together. This is not going to go well. But no, it went really well. And I think that's because it's a camp environment. There's athletic activities going on and challenging our comfort zones, and it becomes more of like we're a team. Like that's kind of the thing that I found that happened at Happy Camper Live is like, because we're challenging ourselves with new activities and things we wouldn't normally do, we kind of realize like we have to be a team and help each other out here.
I think it's great, and I think it absolutely shows. And I think that the Happy Camper Live web series is really captures the essence and specialness of the moments that you guys have. And it's really, it's really time that I will personally treasure forever. I mean, it was really sort of a great time, and I'm a huge summer camp guy, but there were many, many surprises along the way.
Right. It was humorous. It was surprising. Yeah.
It was humorous. It was touching. It was surprising. And there were personal insights that I had not known about and I wasn't expecting. And so even as a person sort of behind the scenes, I was surprised and shocked and really interested to watch as you guys developed. So it was really very special. Yeah, no, it was great.
Wow.
So now tell me a little bit about what you do outside of camp. I know that you've been going to school and you've been making movies. So tell me a little bit about that.
It's been really cool. So as mentioned before, I am a student of Sarah Lawrence College and now at Syracuse University. And I do a lot of film and media. So I'd say my best internship so far has been last summer, where I started at Hearst Media. So I was working for Cosmopolitan, Harper's Bazaar, Oprah Winfrey. And that was like super fun. And
wow, what kind of stuff did you do?
I did a lot of stuff. So I was like on set for certain it's like Men's Esquire magazine. We shot on set for him, some celebrities like men, and just putting articles together. So it was like research some days, on set other days. But I'll never forget when they're like, we need you to make a final cut on something. Please go upstairs to the office number and you'll see something in there. And I'm going up. I'm like, oh boy, what's this? It's the front cover of Cosmopolitan. It's Mariah Carey. And I'm the one cutting out the page and like delivering it to the clients. I'm like, oh my God, like, wow.
Look at that. That's a step up to the big time.
Woof.
It's good.
Yeah, it was a fast-paced thing.
So are there any things that you learned at summer camp or that translate into, your new passion or extending your passion into production? You know what?
There's a huge thing, and I feel like I'm still working on it today. I think when you go to summer camp, because it's this kind of dreamful environment, you see the best version of yourself. Like when you're at that summer camp, you see the absolute best version of yourself. So when you're back at school and say it's winter and you're putting your jacket on and covering up and you're just in a school environment, you sometimes start to feel like, why am I different? Like, why was I so amazing at camp? And now I'm just like not that freedom, like free-spirited person. And I'm like, I'm putting it together that I think, one of the goals of life is you need to not just be that free-spirited person in camp. You need to go to camp to learn who you are. But once you learn who you are and how much fun you can be as a person, you have to every day make sure to continue that in the work environment, in the school environment, and be fun and have fun.
I think that, in my experience, what I've seen is that camp gives kids a chance to have almost an alternate identity.
Yes.
Is that you can shed your life from school and you get a chance to reinvent yourself. You get to try, and you get to erase the blackboard, and you're it's all fresh.
Right. And, you do.
And you can try new experiences that you never thought possible. You were in a kayak race. We roasted marshmallows late at night. We sang around a campfire.
Right.
Those are not things that you can generally do in the middle of New York City. No,
you can't just go out to 42nd Street and have a nice bonfire going with marshmallows.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
so
you know what? I'll tell you, when so after I went to Happy Camper Live and, so-called found myself and found all this fun, the next day I came home, I started my internship again. And there was a difference, which was important to me, is that instead of me being like the other interns that, were just sitting at the computer, kind of had all these stern, serious faces, I was smiling in the office. Like I was having fun. And within a week, they were putting me in front of all their clients. And I was like having fun with them. And I was being on set. And I was like, wow, I have to send my kids to camp. This is what it does to you.
Oh, it really
future kids. I don't, for the record, I don't have kids now. I meant future kids.
But if you had kids, you would send them to summer camp.
100%. They are packing their butts up.
I have kids, and I have sent them to summer camp, and it literally changes their lives.
Yeah.
It gives them. It's like a rocket boost of confidence. That they can get on stage and they can be silly and they can be funny and people are applauding. And and I find that at summer camp, is that there's 350 kids who all want you to succeed. That the people are cheering your name, and that boost is really a phenomenal thing.
And let's also not forget, you're not sitting around on your phone at camp. You're living life. Like you're doing activities. You're not just sitting on Instagram and all that.
At Happy Camper Live, were you allowed to have your phone there?
I don't remember.
The answer is no, you couldn't. You had to turn them off. It was just like summer camp. It was
but that was the best thing. That was the best thing. And you didn't catch me complaining one day that it's like, I need to use my phone. No, we should absolutely not have our phones. Like if you have future campers come up, please do what you did with us to them. No. Yeah,
no, it's important. It's just as important to play soccer and football and to go diving in the lake as it is to have a quiet time where you literally do nothing and you just think and you imagine and you communicate with yourself or with somebody else.
Right.
Is that it's a time for discovery. It's a time for letting your mind think and wander and grow and develop. And summer camp provides incredible tools to make your life better. And
it does.
That's sort of what we try to do with the Happy Camper Live website, which is we try to give kids the tools so that they can try new adventures. They can explore their potential and they can find the things that they do like and also find the things they don't like. It's totally okay. But it's good to experience those things and make an intelligent decision on what it is that you want to focus on and what you don't want to focus on. That's also just as important.
It's a great place to just try everything out. Yeah,
it's really we're finding that kids all around the world are tuning into Happy Camper Live, and that they're. I mean, it's wild. I mean, we're getting an incredible response.
I've seen all the press. It's crazy. There's a lot of places.
We've got a lot of national press, a lot of interest from a number of newspapers and television stations.
I've seen. I'm so glad to be a part of this.
Yeah, and you have helped make this thing incredibly special.
So
is there anything else that you want to talk about, or is there anything you want to tell, Want to tell us any future projects that are coming up? Or?
Yeah, sure. Well, right now I'm currently the director of a film starring the president of Portugal, as she likes to call herself. She is this big famous person who's apparently all political in Portugal. It's this transgender model who's worked for Dior and all these companies, currently married. It's a 40-year-old person married to a 90-year-old lady, which I don't really get how that works. But it works, and okay. I've made a short film, and they are starring in it, and I've already got it into about 4 or 5 festivals, premiering in New York City. There's a judge in Paris right now that messaged me with interest in the film. Great. So it's really cool, and I think Darnell sees my updates because it's funny. We're all connected on social media now. So whenever I post an update or he posts an update, Joey, Darnell, we're all like liking each other's work or just, checking in on each other.
I like that you guys have remained friends.
Absolutely.
And that you are helping each other and you are enjoying each other's successes. I mean, I can't stress the magic of this because I passed Nora. Nora was also our camp counselor. I passed her right in Union Square in New York City. And it's like, we immediately know what to talk about. And as I said, I passed Darnell walking on the street. So it's so funny now. How does this happen? It is amazing. And you actually find this throughout your life is that when you see your camp friends, it is as if no time has passed. And you will immediately jump into conversations about, remember the time that we,
yeah.
In arts and crafts, or the time that we went on a hunt out in the woods.
Yeah, I remember when we were troublemakers. I remember we did something. We tore something down in the arts and crafts room.
There were water balloon fights, and it was right. And there was all it was really a great time.
Yeah.
So I think we've come to the as the campfire tends to burn down low, and I think we've come to the end of our time together.
Yeah.
And I want to say it has been an absolute pleasure talking with you. You are fun and funny, and you're smart. And I know that there's going to be great success for you as a filmmaker because you understand what drama is and what passion is about. And you understand, I think, how to go out there and to take what interests you and to work hard and to make it happen. And I see nothing but great success for you.
Steve, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
If you're not going to do it, I'm going to brag for you. Steve is a great producer. I mean, Steve is someone who put a camp together, put media together along with Allison. You guys truly did a wonderful job giving us a magical experience here. So
thank you. It was really thank you. It was really a pleasure.
Seriously, thank you so much.
Jordan, Cody, Brandon, I want to thank you very much for being with us, and we wish you continued success. And thanks for being part of the Happy Camper Live family. You are always welcome back to the campfire. It'll be great to see it. But you got to come with next time. You got to come with a song and a short dance, maybe.
All right, I'll figure that out. Okay. You got it.
All right. So thank you very much. And for anyone who wants to hear more podcasts, you can find us where all good podcasts are found, on Spotify, on Apple, on Google. And you can also find us at happycamperlive.com. You should check that out for all sorts of fun and activities. And I want to say thank you for joining us. And I am Steve Slavkin. I'm your head counselor, and I will see you next time around the campfire.